Hey everyone, welcome to Be the Change. My name is Lily Mott, and today's episode is about how change comes when you're open to sharing your story. Today's episode features Puneet Singh Singhal, who is working at the intersections of disability, the climate crisis, inhumane urbanization, and mental health. Puneet is doing incredible work to change the world, and I really enjoyed talking with him, especially about his passion for storytelling. So with that short introduction, let's get started with this episode featuring Puneet Singh Singhal.
Thank you so much, Lily, for this opportunity. My name is Puneet Singh Singhal. I come from New Delhi, India, and I'm a person with dyslexia, dyspraxia, and stammering. As a disability right activist, I am trying to talk about climate change from the disability and neurodiversity lens, and how we are not talking about it, like how we are not talking about it enough, and how people are suffering in silence, and how I can document these stories and try to bridge the gap of lived experiences and policy. So this is what I'm doing through my project called Green Disability. So green is for like ecology and disability. It's quite obvious that how I'm trying to bring these two things together.
That is wonderful. That is a great way to get started. And I'm so thrilled to have you on the podcast and be able to talk a little bit more about this work that you're doing. How did you get started with this? What was the catalyst that made you want to get started with this journey? Tell me a little bit about that.
I think when I look back with life and everything, I feel that it just started with writing about my experiences. Writing is a great, I would say it helps. It helps us to articulate our emotions and actually process whatever that has happened with us. And it was a very personal thing. And then seriously, I don't know how it become a kind of a uh, spread out thing, that people started to talk about, that you are writing great, and I can relate to your experiences. And I think these are the compliments, these are the validation that help me to, that give me that confidence. Okay, I should carry on, and gradually I become a kind of an advocate who were talking about ableism, who was talking about various aspects of disabled life. And then I realized that in the 2021, there was a severe heat wave in Delhi. Like every year, it's getting worse. And we are feeling heat waves in different part of the world now, and how it affects neurodivergent people, how it affects people with autism, people with Down syndrome, and everything. And I was like, okay, this has to be said, and this has to be done in a proper way, where we can help the policymakers help us, because sometimes they don't have significant data, and sometimes we have very powerful stories, but they don't want numbers as well. But all of these things happen, and there I want to like build a community. And now we are like 1200 plus persons with disability, part of the community from all over the world, and we are trying to talk about climate change, and its various manifestation. Somewhere it's a heat wave, somewhere it's different form of natural and man-made disaster, and how disabled people are navigating these challenges. So these stories are beautiful, these stories are emotional, these stories are powerful, and I think stories are a great way to express and articulate complex and complicated emotions as well. So I think uh, this is, I guess I'm going to work on this project for many years to come, because I think there's a lot of work to do. Yeah.
I think that is so beautiful, and the storytelling aspect of it really resonates with me. Can you tell me more about how you are going about creating and I guess maintaining that community and how you're sharing stories? What does that look like for you with your organization?
Yeah, so I think in the beginning it was very centralized, and I'm not very happy about that, because I was the one who was trying to bring up, trying to interview the community members, and then write an article for newspapers, for various magazines, and for this. And I'm gradually I'm nudging the community members to actually create their own stories, take their own photos, make their own paintings, whatever art, whatever forms of storytelling they are. There's no gatekeeping about that. There's not the right way of expression. So what I'm trying to do is to make sure that, to give the power to the community. I don't want to be that kind of a leader where I'm holding on everything, and I'm saying, okay, this is good, this is bad. No, I think the whole perspective is to make leaders out of the community, and we all are leaders in our own sense, because especially disabled people, because it's how they live their lives and how they navigate, how they, you know, actually negotiate with all of these challenges, negotiate with the society, and even negotiation with the nature. The climate is changing, and how our body is, it's complicated. Our needs are very different. So just to give that confidence and that space to the community is very important. And with that space and with the patience and with that confidence, I think beautiful stories are coming up. We are collaborating with a lot of art spaces online, and we are trying to create a repository, a kind of a database where there are a lot of story, there are a lot of paintings and photographs and whatever that they can do. There's no right or wrong way again. And I'm just trying to create that kind of narrative and discourse about climate change and disability and its intersection, which is very I think it's very interesting and very painful at the same time, how people are struggling in silence, and that silence needs to be broken in some way. Yeah.
That is so interesting to hear about how you have kind of grown your approach, and then of course grown the community. And I'm sure so many people feel so empowered by this platform and being able to share some of those challenges that they might be facing and feel solidarity with it. And I think that's such an important part of community and being able to open up about those conversations. How do you think that we can support the work that you're doing? Is it raising awareness? Is it having more conversations about climate change? Is it, of course, I'm sure that's one of the things that we can do, but tell me more about how we can all support the work that you're doing and how people can, support you and the community that you're building.
Yeah, this is the best question. This is my favorite question to be asked. And I'm going to share you with the link to the open call. And if you can put in the episode, that would be amazing, and people can go to that link, and if they have something to share, if they want to make a social media post out of it, and if they want to help us to promote this thing, that would be amazing. And also I will be sharing our social media channels from which they can be regularly updated with whatever that is going with the community, and whatever news coming from our global members. Yeah.
That's wonderful. I will absolutely link all of that so people can check all of the resources out and your own socials and everything, because I think it's just wonderful for you to have more eyes and more ears on these stories and more awareness raised. I think that's so important. Can you tell me about some of the challenges that you've faced as you've been sharing your own story, but also other people's stories? I think often it can feel very heavy to be carrying lots of different stories, and especially those that feel very challenging and emotional. Can you tell me about that for you and how you navigate that for yourself? Yeah, I'd love to talk with you a little bit about that, because I think that's a very important aspect of the work that you do.
I think I'm still learning how to take some of these stories, because these are sensitive stories. Sometimes it's heartbreaking to see the everyday life that our people are going through, and there is no support from the society, from the government. And that's why I started it, because someone has to take the lead. And the power, the same thing itself is giving me that power and that courage to actually get up in the morning and repeat the thing again, because it's simply very powerful. It's the community that has given me a lot of love, and it has given me this responsibility, and I have that gratitude in my mind. And I think gratefulness is an amazing thing. I'm so thankful that I've been able to do something, and I feel that I'm the medium through which the community is trying to do something, and we should focus on positives as well, and also at the same time taking breaks. Self care is very important, and that is the occupational thing. That when we are in the social impact sector, we need to take care of ourselves, and because there are a lot of things that is going in the world right now, and as we speak. So I would be very dishonest if I say that, okay, it's all very good, it's all very pleasant. No, it is not. But at the same time, that ray of hope that I got from, talking to people and being in the community, and that is the best thing, that I have that access to people, and, they always trust me. Sometimes even the journalists struggle to talk to the community members, and they trust me so much that I sometimes I become that kind of medium with the journalist and with the community. And that's why I often talk to journalists that you need to spend time with them. You cannot earn trust in few days or few hours. So it's very important, and being an activist coming from the community, they know that that I am one of them, and I am, when I talk about the community, I'm talking about myself too. So because I'm part of the community, so that is the I would say an advantage that I have. If I compare it to the different researchers and academia and journalists, because they are writing for us, and when I am writing, I'm writing from that perspective of first person as well, and then it actually goes into various forms of community and another thing. So I think it's a learning experience, and I'm still very happy to take feedback, and also to accept whatever that is like little complicated in the leadership style, because there is no right way. Again, there's so it's up to you how you want to take things. Yeah.
I do think that is such an important point to bring up about you being part of the community and sharing stories with your lived experience. And I think that's such an important distinction to make. And it is so important for you to be doing this work, as difficult as it might be sometimes. And that makes self-care all the more important. I think it's wonderful that you brought that up. And that is just important. So you don't feel like you're carrying so much weight and like you're carrying the stories and the hardships, because it's important to take care of yourself so you can keep doing this work. I absolutely agree. Can you tell me about people who inspire you to continue doing this work? I think that you touched on it a little bit with the community, of course, but tell me more about the people who might have inspired you along this journey, or maybe given you some advice. Tell me a little bit about that and what keeps you going when you're doing all this work.
I think it will take hours, hours, because there are a lot of people, and I would definitely say that I am very blessed to have multiple mentors and so many friends that I have to fall back to. Sometimes you're having a bad day, I can call anyone up. I can actually meet people, have coffee with them. So I think this is a huge advantage that I have. But if I want to take one name, I would take the name of my mentor, Deborah Rue. She has been an advocate for disability rights in USA for around 30 years now, and she has been very instrumental in bringing that some of the laws and the regulations, and even the attitudinal change, because ableism is more of that is coming from our own attitude, and sometimes it's reflect in the policies, in the laws, and everything. But I think she has a lot of experience, and she has been very kind, and I'm blessed to have her as my mentor. And she always say that that we are friends and everything, but always listen to her as a masterclass, that this is a masterclass in running, and listening to her and taking notes is always full of wisdom and knowledge. Yeah.
That is wonderful. You'll definitely have to send this episode to her so that then she can hear this. That is so beautiful. Can you tell me about what your advice would be for young change makers who might want to get started with some of this work, but don't know how to or where to get started? What would you like to share with them?
I think years back there was a lot of gatekeeping in the activism and advocacy part, because I see a lot of people coming from a privileged or elite backgrounds, talking in the conferences, same people again going to various conference halls and talking about being the experts. But due to the advent of social media, due to advent of LinkedIn, due to the advent of Instagram and Twitter, and there are a lot of various forms medium, you can decide your own way. If you are into videos, you can make videos. If you want to write, you can write. If you like, whatever, if you're into podcast, start a podcast, or being on podcasts like yours. So there is a lot of platforms, and I think social media is a equalizer as well, because it's not gatekeeping like other forms, that you don't need to have degrees. You can just share your lived experiences and about your opinion and your views, which is as valid as anything. I would say writing is a great form. Start your own blog and do it for yourself, and see the magic. See the magic just spread, because internet, you don't know who is reading that. I have met so many friends, that were not in a good space, and that then they read my work, and they send me that message, okay, that was beautiful. So I think we can make so much of meaningful relationships online as well. It's just up to you to be open, and it is not easy to be open. The first time I have written something, and pressing the submit button was the most difficult thing. And then after pressing that button, I was like switching off my laptop and just going for sleep. I'm going to take a nap because I don't know what will happen. I was so nervous. So just do it. This is the thing. Just do it, and focus on your craft, focus on yourself first, and things will happen.
I was so inspired by this conversation with Puneet because I resonated with a lot of his experiences, especially the challenges that he discussed around sharing stories and getting started with that work. It can be so nerve-wracking to hit that publish or post button when you're sharing your own story or sharing a piece of work that you're really proud of. But in my experience, those nerves can also be a really good sign because it means that you care about the work you're doing. And when those emotions go away, your passion might also be slipping away. So I want to leave you with one piece of Puneet's advice to keep in mind, especially as we're getting closer to the new year and people might be considering new projects or new opportunities. Change comes when you're open to sharing your story. Thank you so much for listening to this episode, and you can find Puneet on Instagram and LinkedIn, and I included those links in the description of this episode. If you want to talk about anything I mentioned, please reach out to me by email at lily@bethechangepodcast.org or on Instagram at Be The Change Media Network. I am working on expanding Be The Change Media Network, which means bringing you more inspiring stories from amazing guests. If you enjoyed this episode, I would really appreciate it if you could leave the podcast a rating and a comment because it will help these stories to reach, educate, and inspire more people. And I would also love to hear your thoughts and feedback. Tune in for my next episode, but until then, be the change you wish to see in the world. Bye, guys.